This story in the Book of Mormon, from the Book of Alma, chapter 15, really grabbed me.
Okay.
It's about persecution and redemption.
Right.
And it all starts after the believers, the followers of Alma, are driven out of Ammonihah.
Uh-huh.
Some even stoned.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that kind of tension.
Yeah, it's interesting how this story set in such turmoil becomes a story of transformation.
Really?
Zeezrom, one of the persecutors of Alma and Amulek, goes through a huge change.
Yeah.
He's the one who accused Alma and Amulek of blasphemy.
Right.
And now he's the one who needs help.
Yeah, it says in Alma 15.3 that Zeezrom was sick with a burning fever.
Oh, wow.
Likely brought on by guilt and fear.
Mm-hmm.
He believes Alma and Amulek are dead because of him.
Yeah.
It's like his past actions are eating him alive.
And look what he does in his desperation.
Yeah.
He sends for Alma and Amulek, the very people he'd wronged.
Wow.
Seeking their help.
Right.
He recognizes their spiritual power and desperately wants to be healed.
Right.
Both physically and spiritually. Yeah. This is a powerful illustration of how we can turn to faith in our darkest moments.
Can you imagine the tension when Alma and Amulek arrive?
Oh, yeah.
Zeezrom is incredibly sick, very low with a burning fever.
Wow.
As it says in verse 5.
Right.
His mind is tormented, and he pleads with them to heal him.
And Alma, instead of condemnation, sees an opportunity. He asks Zeezrom a profound question in verse 6.
Okay.
Believest thou in the power of Christ unto salvation?
And Zeezrom responds, Yea, I believe all the words that thou hast taught, expressing a true desire for change.
Then Alma says something that highlights a key theme in the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
The connection between faith and healing.
Okay.
If thou believest in the redemption of Christ, thou canst be healed.
And Zeezrom, ready and open, declares, Yea, I believe according to thy words.
What happens next is a miracle.
Okay.
Alma prays.
Right.
And instantly Zeezrom is healed.
Oh.
Verse 10 says he leaped upon his feet completely healed.
That's amazing.
The news of this spreads like wildfire, as we read in verse 11.
It must have been amazing to witness.
Oh, yeah.
And Zeezrom, now restored and full of conviction, becomes a preacher of the very message he opposed.
Wow.
It's a true testament to the power of change and repentance.
But the reaction of the people of Ammonihah is quite different.
Really?
Despite witnessing this miracle,
Right.
they remain hardened in their disbelief,
Oh, wow.
attributing it to the devil.
Right.
Alma 15.19 says, they repented not of their sins, ascribing all the power of Alma and Amulek to the devil.
It's a reminder that some choose faith, while others cling to their old ways, even when presented with evidence.
In all this, Amulek's sacrifice stands out.
Yeah.
He left his wealth, his family, his entire life in Ammonihah for his beliefs.
Right.
Verse 16 tells us he was even rejected by his own family.
It makes you think about what you would be willing to sacrifice for your beliefs. Amulek's commitment is inspiring.
Yes, it shows the true strength that comes from conviction.
And inside him, we see people embracing faith.
Okay.
Alma 15.17 says they began to assemble in their sanctuaries for prayer.
Their story shows the positive change that faith can bring.
Yeah.
A message of hope.
Right.
Renewal and growth, even after hardship.
And amidst all this, Alma takes Amulek to his home in Zarahemla, providing him with comfort and support, as we see in verse 18.
It's a beautiful example of compassion and support in the face of adversity.
It is.
Alma taking Amulek into his home is such a beautiful picture of what it means to bear one another's burdens.
It is.
Alma 15.8 tells us he did administer unto him in his tribulations and strengthened him in the Lord.
Right.
This wasn't just a friendly visit. It was an act of deep spiritual ministering.
Yeah. It reminds us that we're meant to support one another in our faith journeys.
Right.
We don't have to face trials alone.
Absolutely. And think about Zeezrom's initial choice to persecute believers.
Yeah.
His actions had ripple effects that caused immense suffering.
Right.
Yet his conversion and subsequent preaching of the gospel had a transformative impact on the people of Sidom.
It's amazing how our choices can have both positive and negative consequences that extend far beyond ourselves.
We also see contrasting reactions to truth in this story.
Yeah.
The people of Ammonihah witnessed undeniable miracles performed by Alma and Amulek. Yet they refused to believe.
Really?
Instead, they clung to their skepticism and attributed the miracles to the devil.
Wow.
It says in Alma 15.15, They repented not of their sins, ascribing all the power of Alma and Amulek to the devil.
It makes you wonder why some people refuse to see the truth.
Right.
Even when it's right in front of them.
Perhaps it's fear or pride.
Yeah.
Or a deep-seated unwillingness to change. Their reaction challenges us to examine our own hearts.
Right.
Are we open to new information and perspectives?
Could be.
Are we willing to question our assumptions, even when it's uncomfortable?
It's a good reminder that we should always be seeking truth.
Right.
No matter where it leads us.
I think about the contrast between Zeezrum's experience and the reaction of the people of Ammonihah.
Yeah.
Zeezrum, having experienced a profound personal transformation, became a passionate advocate for the very faith he had once opposed.
Right.
His testimony was born out of his own experience.
Sometimes the most powerful testimonies come from those who have gone through deep trials and come out the other side.
This theme of transformation is woven throughout the Book of Mormon.
Really?
It speaks to the idea that anyone, regardless of their past, can experience redemption and change.
Wow.
We see it in Alma the Younger, who transitions from a persecutor of the church to one of its greatest leaders.
Right.
We see it in the sons of Mosiah, who leave their comfortable lives to preach the gospel.
And we see it so powerfully in Zeezrum.
Exactly.
These stories are full of hope.
Yeah.
Reminding us that no one is beyond the reach of God's grace.
Zeezrum's conversion might seem sudden.
Right.
But spiritual transformation is often a gradual process.
Okay.
It's a journey with ups and downs.
It's encouraging to remember that, especially when we feel discouraged in our own faith journeys.
Alma asking Zeezrum if he believed in the power of Christ wasn't just a theological question.
No.
It was an invitation for Zeezrum to access a source of healing, both physically and spiritually.
Right.
It highlights the dynamic power of faith. It can help us overcome challenges, find peace, and experience profound change.
True faith isn't just about believing certain things.
Right.
It's about aligning ourselves with God's power and opening ourselves to the possibility of miracles.
Zeezrum's story also reveals the complexities of human nature.
Yeah.
We see how fear, guilt, and desperation can drive us toward the very source we once rejected.
Right.
We see how pride and stubbornness can blind us to the truth.
But we also see how faith, humility, and a willingness to change can lead to healing and transformation.
Absolutely.
And there's another powerful lesson here about compassion.
Right.
Alma could have easily rejected Zeezrum, given his past actions.
But instead, Alma offered him kindness.
Right.
Recognizing his repentance and opening the door for healing.
Imagine the impact that had on Zeezrum.
Oh, yeah.
It's a reminder that we all need grace, and that sometimes the greatest witness we can offer is through love and compassion.
It's a challenging path.
Yeah.
But one that leads to greater peace and understanding.
It is. It's a reminder that forgiveness is powerful.
Yeah.
It can be incredibly healing, not just for the person receiving it, but for the one who offers it as well.
Yeah.
It's like a ripple effect of grace.
Exactly. The story of Zeezrum amidst all this adversity offers a profound message of hope. It reminds us that even when things seem darkest, change is possible.
It really emphasizes the transformative power of faith, the strength we find in our communities, and the resilience of the human spirit. It encourages us to believe in the possibility of redemption for ourselves and others.
This episode also highlights what true discipleship looks like. It's not just about following rules, but about embodying principles like compassion, forgiveness, and service.
It's about having the courage to stand up for what we believe, even when it's hard, and showing kindness to everyone, regardless of their past. It's a challenging but rewarding path.
And Zeezrum's journey reminds us that transformation is a continuous process, not a one-time event.
We're constantly growing and striving to become more like Christ. It's a journey filled with humility, a willingness to learn, and a commitment to live out our faith.
And as we journey through the Book of Mormon, we encounter so many powerful stories that invite us to reflect on our own beliefs and experiences.
These stories challenge us, inspire us, and ultimately point us toward a deeper understanding of faith and the human spirit.
These aren't just ancient stories. They're living words that speak to our hearts and offer guidance for our own journeys.
Zeezrum's story is a powerful reminder of the transformative power of faith, repentance, and forgiveness. It's a story about second chances and the hope that exists even in the darkest of times. What are your thoughts on his dramatic transformation? What lessons resonate with you most from this account? We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections. Be sure to follow our podcast and subscribe for more discussions like this. Thanks for listening.